All right, people, we're here live, KUHS Denver. Going to have a show on renewal and recovery today. And as you can see, I can need some recovering. A little gruffy today, a little shaky. I'm going to put something away though. Just a minute. We're going to go. We're going to go live with Facebook Live here in just a second. Get my tune-ups here going. Well, it is definitely a special day. It is Friday at 11 o'clock at KUHSdenver.com. I'm your host, Lowell Whiteman of the 360 Performance Talk Show. We're going to talk about some great stuff today, renewal and recovery. Looking at our body, our mind, body, and attitude to make sure that there's good connections there. Give you some strategies about how to do that. I've had a really great week, but it's been a tough week, so I came in a little gruffy, just as an image for you that are watching today of what it looks like, but yet how I feel. I'm renewed, I'm recovered, getting good sleep. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about also the use of cannabis and how that impacts the recovery process. So you're listening to KUHSdenver.com at 11 o'clock in the morning. We're 360 Performance Talk. I'm your host, Lowell Whiteman. We're going to have a couple of my colleagues I'm going to call them and bring them in. Karen Lazarus of Sweet Mary Jane. She's a great entrepreneur in the cannabis business. She's one of many women that are breaking, if not removing, the glass ceiling to the industry. But she's also just a wonderful, wonderful baker and connoisseur of baked goods. And then her life turned her into looking at cannabis as an infusion into her wonderful baked goods. One of my favorites with her are her red velvet cupcakes. Whether they're infused with cannabis or not, they are awesome, awesome, awesome products. We're then also going to talk to Stephanie Jakian. She's the massage therapist that has been on the show before. And we're going to talk to Stephanie about looking at massage therapy when the therapist isn't around. For me, I've got many clients who are in airports a lot, and they're doing all kinds of things in the airport, trying to get themselves relaxed and free thinking about the day. And they're wondering, what can I do just sitting here in the airport waiting? Or what can I do in my hotel room? Well, Stephanie's going to share with us some strategies for that. But at the same time, remind us that, listen, go to the massage therapist. That's the thing to do because they're the professionals. And you can get those ideas from them. But she's going to help us about renewing and recovering our body and how that connects to mindfulness about our thought processes. So that's our show for today. And there'll be some more slices of topics that we're going to be talking about. But before I get into our first segment, which is the mindset segment, which we start off with every show, we'll talk a little bit about football and some people who have recovered where they think they are recovering. And that person is Johnny Manziel. The headlines in an article written by Storm Gifford is, old Manziel. Odds makers release lines on potential NFL return landing spots for Johnny Football. Well, he's been working out and trying to bring himself back in a way that convinces the NFL community that he's ready to go. And there are some wagering lines for this. The question is, will Johnny Manziel be signed by an NFL team before or during the 2018 regular season? Yeses go at 5-2 odds. Successful wager of $100 could yield you $250. That's 5-2 on a no. On a no answer. The odds are 1-4. Successful wager of $400 wins you $100. That's the way the odds go. But it appears that there are a number of teams that have been chatting about Johnny Manziel, but gosh, do you run the risk? What is it? What is the standard of measure to know if Johnny Manziel is ready to go? What is his mindset? Is probably more important than his skill set. His skill set's been challenged and he's succeeded. He's got a good arm. He's mobile. He reads defenses and adjusts to defense by making things happen with his feet like almost no quarterback currently in the NFL or previous to that. He's proven that. He just hasn't given himself a lot of time to stay on the field because of his off-field behavior. So let's see if he gets that done. The other thing I want to tell you about is the 2018 preseason schedule was announced for this season, and that's interesting because we have the August 2nd coming up very quickly, the NFL Hall of Fame game in Canton, Ohio. That's going to be on NBC TV at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. This year it's going to feature the Chicago Bears with the Baltimore Ravens. If you remember, a few weeks ago we had Crockett Gilmore on here talking about his return to the game after a year's worth of injury recovery on his knee, and he's very optimistic about that, feeling very strong. But in his announcement on the show he was talking to us about his change in position, and he's had conversations with the franchise and the team, and he's going to offensive line. It's not like it's been a first-time thing for him. He's done it before. He did it in high school. He had a brief stint as a lineman in college at Colorado State University. So I feel that he's, it's a challenge, but he's always up for a challenge. So I'm really pulling for Crockett Gilmore. And you might be able to see him in that first game on August 2nd, Thursday, August 2nd at 8 p.m. on NBC. Let's give you a little bit of a look at our Denver Broncos, about what's going on with them. We have, for their preseason, we've got Minnesota, Chicago at home, the first two games, and then at Washington and at Arizona for the last two games of the 4-week preseason. So there it goes. It always starts with that game in Canton, Ohio at the NFL Hall of Fame game. And the Hall of Fame inductees this year, I think it's going to be something everybody, even if you're not really a football fan, just listening to the speeches and the appreciation that those men share with their teammates that got them to that point. Now, we're on my international feed out there. So if you are interested in listening to the show and watching the show, you go to KUHSdenver.com and take a look at the live link on the show. It's being shown there right now. We have great work by Henry and the group here technologically. It's awesome stuff. But I want to say thank you for those people out there in Italy and Turkey, also in New South Wales, Rockdale. Got some people from there. Brazil, love the Brasilia field, awesome. And in Birmingham, and then the United Kingdom, many locations in the United Kingdom for viewing, KUHSdenver.com. So now let's get into our first segment, mindset. Look, we're talking about renewal and recovery of the body and making sure that it puts together. And I try to talk about stuff that I practice and that I try so that you get a real genuine sense of what's going on. And in a few minutes, I'm going to be talking to Karen Lazarus of Sweet Mary Jane, and she's going to share with us some things about cannabis products and what's going on. But with saying that, let me set this up a little bit, because the mindset of people about cannabis is not all that positive when it comes to high-performance athletics. If you look behind me, it'll be back on in a minute, but Ricky Williams was a huge focal point in the NFL in the early days. He's still fighting the battles, but now it's on a more positive framework and platform. He did a great TED Talk recently back in Florida. He played for the Miami Dolphins, Heisman Trophy winner, outstanding athlete, and interestingly enough, an outstanding student. Very articulate and informed young man, a family man, a father. So he's very focused on the mindset that brings a positive side to utilization of cannabis. And in the football world, as well as the soccer world, you've got brain trauma and brain trauma issues. Now, I'm not going to get too technical with you, but for renewal and recovery, introducing cannabis as a topical lotion, and one of our sponsors here is Empower, and Empower Spa Products, and the oils that they have, and we'll talk more specifically about that. But it's a healing product. It's aromatic. It's a hemp-based oil blend. This happens to be the white label. It does not have any of the psychotropic elements of THC in it. Well, I should say not at a level that it's high enough that it's going to influence you at all. And it's within the legal limits for sending it to you via email. So be interested in the Empower oil products. You can go online and look up Empower, and I'll tell you a little bit what discount you can get by listening to KUHSdenver.com and 360 Performance Talk with that. But in a few minutes, we'll talk to Karen Lazarus about edibles. And in addition to the assisting with helping the healing process with brain trauma, but also through the heightened transfer of oxygen into tissue that cannabinoids can promote. You also have pain management, muscle recovery issues when you improve the circulatory system the way cannabis does. Now, that does not preclude or exclude consideration for massage therapy and pushing the tissue and really enhancing that, or the use of hydration, making sure, especially in Colorado, that we're properly hydrated. And then we're gonna talk more about the mindset about stretching, and also some things about busting cannabis myths. So we'll talk a little bit with Karen about that. So with that being said, and our setup for our mindset there, I'm going to give Karen a call. You're going to be listening to me tune that in with her as I dial the numbers. Let your fingers do the walking. And okay, there you go. As long as you know how to use the phone, you'll be able to dial the phone. Okay. And there we go. Get Karen in here. Karen, this is Lowell. Good morning to you. Thank you for taking my call.
Hi, Lowell.
And by the way, I have to say this just to be up front. You're on the air live at KUHSdenver.com on the 360 Performance Talk Show.
Well, hello.
Yeah, hello to the universe, not universe, the world, because we have listeners and viewers from all over the world, as well as our domestic audience all over the country. Welcome, Karen Lazarus and Sweet Mary Jane. I just love that name of your store and your shop. That is such a wonderful name. Now, Karen, as I talked to you earlier, we're gonna ask you about not only your business, but the power and influence of edibles from both the extremes of those cancer patients and people with desperate health needs that use the edibles, as well as down into that recreational application. And as you know, for me, my clients are using cannabis products for primarily pain management, football players and whatnot. Then there's some that have brain trauma. I've been accused of that a lot. And then just the muscle bruises and bumps that you get from just being very active and a high-performing person. So tell me a little bit about first where you have had experience with the feedback from your distributors and their cannabis users of edibles and Sweet Mary Jane edibles about how they've benefited from edibles as it relates to pain management and just helping those bumps and bruises feel better.
Well, it's not just our edibles, it's also our tincture line. So we make a tincture line that is fairly extensive. So it's a combination of CBD, THC, 1:1 all the way up to 20:1. And we've had calls for years from patients that are suffering from seizures, head trauma, cancer patients, parents treating their children, a lot of people who have MS, epilepsy, um, back injuries. All of these people have been using our product and calling and just saying that, thanking us for the relief they finally found through THC, CBD.
Now, with those extremes, Karen, when you talk about that, if you have any feedback about the specifics about what people are getting relief from, can only imagine what that would do with somebody with just that it bumps and bruises from being a competitive athlete. If an MS patient's getting relief, my goodness, it should help anybody below that pain threshold.
Well, I mean, THC, and we know that it helps with pain relief. I mean, the studies have shown that this natural compound helps with pain, and it's of course, infinitely safer than prescription painkillers. So, that's another benefit of THC is helping people to stay away from the opioids or get off of the opioids if that's what they've been prescribed.
Now,
We know that that's a problem.
so Karen, what's one of the list of many of the popular edibles that you have, and then tinctures as well, that you can recommend to our audience to take a look for when they go to their outlets for your product?
If people want an edible, the edible that we recommend for a medical patient are something called the Boss Bar. It's 350 milligrams of THC, and we sell it with a template so people know how to cut it into the proper dose. Certainly, it depends on how much they can take.
Yeah.
If they've been using THC for a long time, if they built their tolerance. And the same thing goes for our line of tinctures. On that medical side, for children, we always recommend the 20 to 1. Again, depending on what the child is suffering from. And we also sell something called THCA, so that they can use that throughout the day without the psychoactive effects of THC.
Excellent. What is there a particular tincture name that you recommend?
Well, our tinctures are called Relief, RELEAF, by Sweet Mary Jane.
Gotcha. And then is there a recreational version? Because many times the athlete that I work with, and these are both professional as well as amateurs, high performance executives still think that they're a quarterback, and they play in leagues and stuff. Is there, and they won't be able to get a medical card or don't know what the process is to get one. What do you recommend in your line of product on the recreational side that would give them a modicum of that relief that the medical applications are using?
Well, we have a nice line on the website also. We have a 1 to 1 and a 3 to 1. And again, we have a non-psychoactive. These athletes can use throughout the day, and then they can turn to something that has the THC activated in it for evening.
Awesome. And I want to make sure everybody understands that when you go to like a Leafly website and look for Sweet Mary Jane, that's literally what you need to do. It's just type in Sweet Mary Jane and see what dispensary is distributing Sweet Mary Jane products. Now, in Colorado, that's pretty much where you're going to find them. So if you're out of state and you're coming into Colorado, you want to make sure you look at Leafly and places like those websites to define where you can find the Sweet Mary Jane products. Now, I have to tell my audience, but this is from experience, that I really validate and recommend the Sweet Mary Jane products because I've used them. I told them before you came on, Karen, that I love your red velvet cakes, no matter what form you put them in, cupcakes, pancake, I don't care, that you just have a great recipe for red velvet cake, with or without cannabis product in it. Is there any other?
The cookbook is out there.
Yeah, good. So they can go to your website.
And make it themselves, yeah.
And you can go, so they can go to Sweet Mary Jane. Is it sweetmaryjane.com?
I love SMJ.
I love SMJ.
So Sweet Mary Jane.
Yeah. .com. There you go. I love sweetmaryjane.com. I love SMJ. Okay, here I'm dyslexic. SweetMaryJane.com. Okay, yes, I love smj.com. There you go, because I do. I do that. And is there on the website they can get the CBD and have that product sent to them, or are you are not doing that?
We are not doing straight CBD. We can't do that. That's not something that we're allowed to do it on this. We can only mix it with THC. And that's
Okay.
what we do.
Okay.
So, but we, like I said, we do have unactivated THC, and we also have very high doses of CBD with very low doses of THC. So it's a nice line of tinctures. We also have topicals, and one of the things we're doing right now is we're collaborating with the DAB in Denver, the dispensary,
Mm-hmm.
creating a whole line of THC CBD products for them, and those will be available in the next few weeks. And those are geared towards, I believe, athletes.
All right. Well, you've heard it here, just coming out at the DAB dispensary in Colorado. I will post on my website 360mindset.com the location and address for the DAB dispensary, as well as I will repost the ilovesmj.com on my website, so you have that as well. And just throwing the love out there for everybody to really get after Sweet Mary Jane products wherever you see them, especially the red velvet cake. Loving that. You've told me some things I really didn't know. I didn't know about the tinctures and the expansion into the topicals. So I'm going to definitely look at that and work with you on using some of those wonderful things. So, Karen, is there anything else you want to leave our audience with that we haven't talked about, so I can get you back to your wonderful shop and give my best to your daughter and the team there? That's awesome.
Oh, you're so nice. Well, I mean, people know that, the endocannabinoids, there's been studies that show that there's, quite honestly, impact for traumatic brain injury with THC and CBD products. There have been these studies, and that study is out there, and you can look it up. It was done in 2014, and a lot of these athletes are finding relief.
Well, and
It's important.
it is absolutely important. And we've got a Denver Post sports writer that has captured some insights on that, and I hope that Nikki comes back and writes some more about the benefits that cannabinoids and cannabis products can provide to brain trauma, people that have had brain trauma injuries. And I'm looking for. Yeah. Yes. Lobby on, girl. Lobby on. Yes, you are, and you're one of the stalwart puffer jets out there. So I'm really appreciative of your time today. Once again, give my best to the team at Sweet Mary Jane, and hugs to your daughter from me to you. Take good care today and have a great weekend.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye now. All right, well, that was Karen Lazarus at Sweet Mary Jane, the owner and founder of Sweet Mary Jane. She is an awesome lady. Her team there, as you heard, great products. We're talking about renewal and recovery, mind, body, and attitude. And I think the attitude that Karen ended with about the opinions people have about what is cannabis. It's not a class 1 drug. It's not it's not an chemically addictive drug. Now, it might be emotionally addictive or socially addictive, but the relief is documented from a medical standpoint for many things. It's scientifically validated. And then you've got great people like a Ricky Williams that talks about that in his TED Talk, and he's had experience with it himself. Now, that being said, I want to make sure we move on to promoting and talking about some of the great products we have. I showed a minute ago the Empower topical. They're one of our sponsors here. Empower is great stuff. Just before the show started, we had Lenny the Runner. I'm not even going to say his last name because he's more known for Lenny the Runner. No, it's Lenny Archuleta. Lenny's a great runner, but like he said, with any active lifestyle, you have all kinds of bumps and bruises and pains and stuff, and you want relief so that you can continue to perform and do your best. Well, Empower does that, and It said it actually one of the phrases that said put it where it hurts is the phrase from Empower. So take advantage of that at empowerspa.com, and their product, their oils, you can buy online and have them shipped to you without any consequences, because there is no active THC in the product. It's just the CBD. So take advantage of that. We've got a great relationship going with a germ blocker. It's a very good healthcare product. So when you're looking at renewal and recovery, you want to make sure you don't get sick, you don't catch a cold. You want to make sure you wash your hands. Just wash your hands. Well, sometimes washing your hands can be done, or cleansing your hands, with a bacterial solution like AV Care produces, called Germ Block. It has 99.999% killing of those germs. Sample products will be available on 360mindset.com very shortly, so you can look at our site, put in your information, and get some free samples with the little tether thing. It's kind of cool. I just love playing with it. So take advantage of that as well. So there's our little break before we start talking about skills and moving on that. And I'm going to focus on the techniques that we've talked about in the past, that are basic fundamentals that need to be part of any other routine that you use, like cannabinoids, like massages or meditation or stretching routines. Another big thing that's happening these days is protein. You know, people making packaging these little squishy packs, like you're getting a Go-Gurt, you know, and it's all protein, and you put it in your mouth and squeeze it. But the thing is, are they real? Are they legit? Or are they just using the word protein like they use the word organic? And it's not legit. So we're going to talk a little bit about legitimacies of that protein. Now, our nutritionist, Nikki Burnett, she has told us some really great sources of protein that don't come in a little squishy bag. You know, they may be a little bit more hands-on, you know, finger foodish, but it's that grain-fed beef jerky, great flavors. There's also, she talks about coconut milk yogurts, use coconut milk to make your dressings. Great sources of antioxidants and proteins, and that is important with the use of topical cannabinoids, or just straight up if you're smoking weed. I mean, I don't subscribe to that from an athlete standpoint, because it's hard to transport. It doesn't do the job. One of the other things I want to recommend from a method standpoint on the skills side of things is practice those breathing techniques. If you put on your topical lotions, and you're looking to relieve some pain and some distress from a hard workout, take a meditation time. Put on the lotion, plan to do the meditation, good breathing, you know, and you don't have to be in a place to do meditation. You could be walking, take a walk. You could be sitting in the airport. In a few minutes, we're going to talk to Stephanie and talk about massages and how you can do massage techniques to relieve some of those distresses and those sore muscles on the go. Sitting in an airport, sitting in an airplane, driving in a cab or an Uber or a Lyft, and get relief, and make sure that you're getting the kinds of recovery you need. Now, it's 30 past the hour, and we're at our next point to talk a little bit about support and sponsorship. One of those is the company I've talked about in the past, but I recently got my shirt. I got my shirt to look at. It's the Athos Performance shirt. And as I told you the last time I talked about Athos, we talked about the shorts. And in both the shirt and the shorts, you've got what's called a core. Now, basically, this is a little computer right here that goes in the shirt or shorts. And if you turn this inside out, what you see are sensors inside the apparel. So these sensors are at a particular spot on the body, and you can see they extend. Here's the main pad for the data recovery, and then here's the strap that goes along the muscle lines to capture like your lats, shoulders, biceps, triceps, the glutes. Sorry, not the glutes. my torso, my half pack. I can't even call it a six pack. It's a half pack. But this kind of a shirt captured all that information wirelessly through my phone. So when I have my phone with me, I can turn on the Athos app on my phone and take a look at all the different workouts that I've done and how I've performed. So I could get a graph like this on my phone, or I can actually look at replaying my entire workout to see where the muscle responses are. So you can see that graphic there of the front and the back of my body giving me this playback. And I can then look at this later on and take a look at what are the different peaks that I had. So I've got biceps, deltoids, all these different readouts that tell me, hey, were my deltoids responding at a good rate at those particular times? And if it wasn't where I wanted to, like my lats, I don't like what I see on my lats. Not good performance, and they were out of balance. My delts were a little out of balance as well. Biceps, yes, and it says my right side was overperforming, so maybe I might have been overcompensating. So that gives me a prescription, or at least an identification of a prescription towards being able to do my workout and focus on my left bicep or focus on my left lat and really have a better managed, and that will relate to feeling. So when I'm looking at my skill sets, the breathing processes I use could be aligned with those statistics. The methods I pick would be aligned to those things as well, so that I can make sure that I am doing a workout that's going to improve something I've lost. Now, with that being said, I'm going to remind you again, we're going to talk to Stephanie here in a second about massages, and from a standpoint of energy and balancing, because this statistics that Athos can provide us can also give insight to a massage therapist who understands this physiologically and emphasize perhaps more or look for more tightness in one side versus another, because that maybe it was that muscle tightness that caused that lack of balance in the workout. And so we'll talk to Stephanie about that and give you some insights on what a massage therapist can do and how you need to communicate with them when you get strategies on how to do massage therapy work on your own. We're about 5 minutes away from me giving Stephanie a call. So as we get prepared for that call, I want to make sure that I emphasize when you're preparing food. We're going to talk a little bit about nutrition. Now, we've had Nikki on the show to talk about nutrition, the specifics about nutrition, but I'm going to talk it kind of in simple terms on how me as a person or you as a person out there, doing your active life, trying to find time to have a meal that's worthwhile, and keep it in balance. Look, I've got more than my share of athletes that way overdo the cannabis thing. They just go way off the charts, and what gets sacrificed many times, despite the fact that many people believe that smoking cannabis makes your appetite go up. It may not, depending on the hybrid of the cannabis you're using. So that's a misnomer. That's one of the myths. It doesn't necessarily amp your attitude, and you're trying to knock over vending machines to get at the cupcakes that are in there or the fruit pies. That's not necessarily the case. What I want to make sure you understand is that how you set yourself up in your own kitchen could accommodate you well with making sure you blend in the use of cannabis, meditation, because in a busy life you might bail out and say, "Oh, I'm too busy. I'm not going to sit here and meditate." Yeah, breathing's fine. I have to do it anyway. If I don't do it, my body will tell me I'm not doing it, or I'll pass out. Now, we're talking about a structured, disciplined framework for you to be the best you can be. That's what we try to do here at 360 Performance Talk, is give you strategies and methods that enhance your ability to perform at your highest level. So with that being said, organize your kitchen. Make sure you've got the right tools to do the things you need to do. We talk about the Nitro Bullet, or we talk about different machines you can have in your kitchen to prepare things. Put them in the freezer. Get Ziploc freezer bags and prepare things and put them away. So it's a grab and go kind of situation. But you're not sacrificing that quality of life, and you're doing the things that are necessary to keep everything connected, right from the time you wake up in the morning until you go to bed at night. All the steps in between, that process, not some of the end results, the process is connected so that you are going to have the highest chance possible of obtaining your optimal performance. That's got to feel good, right? That's got to be a good feeling for you. So we want to make sure you have good feelings every day, utilizing resources, tools, and people that can help support that. And people like I mentioned earlier, Ricky Williams and his story is a story you might want to watch, especially if you're trying to figure out, how do I blend in the cannabis process in my life? How do I incorporate the topicals into my life? Maybe I'm very busy and I travel. Can I travel, or should I travel with cannabis products? That's a risk you have to assume on your own, but you might want to make a phone call to a friend in another city and plan it that way, especially if that other city and state has cannabis laws in place that allows you to get product. Those are things you have to consider. Now, I consider those because more and more of my athletes are talking to me about the use of cannabis, its relevancy, how does it fit, how do I stay compliant with the guidelines of the league, of my team, of me personally, to make sure it works. So with that being said, I'm going to begin to do the dial-up for Stephanie, assuming I'm stammering because I'm wondering if I know how to work a phone here. It's really great that I don't have an audience in front of me, like personally, because I really get me all shaky. Well, you're here. I love that you're here. So thank you very much for being here. I would get through it. I'm tough. I can make it happen. So our next segment after our skill set, we're going to talk a little bit more about skill and biofeedback and trying to understand how massage therapy impacts that. So we get Stephanie on the phone. We'll talk to her about that as well as an environment. What's the relevancy and influence of a good environment, whether you're getting a massage or not? Because I think if you've had a massage, there's environmental components. It's a little dim or dark. There's pleasant, chanting, melodic music going on in the background. It smells good because there's incense there, and you feel good because you're getting your massage. So there's an environment there. That's definitely important. But I'm going to ask Stephanie about the environment outside of that. How can you influence that? What in your mind can you do to help you impact an environment that's positive, almost a massage therapist-like? So I'm going to dial her up. There we go. First three numbers are in. That's good. My fingers are working. And I love Stephanie's mobile phone number. It's like a doctor's office kind of thing. It's awesome. Very, very cool. All right, so here we go. Calling Stephanie.
Hello.
But you answered really fast. That was awesome. This is Lowell here, and you're on the air. You're on the air with KUH. Yeah, KUHSdenver.com. So I have to say all this stuff because of regulations and things. And obviously, 360 Performance Talk is bringing the wonderful Stephanie into our talk today about renewal and recovery, the mind-body attitude. And your thing, girl, and you're really good at it, is the massage stuff. I speak from personal experience. It's awesome. You have a wonderful, and please tell me the name of the business because I'm going to screw up the name every time I say it.
It's Bodhi Body Studio.
Okay, and remember, people, it's Bodhi, B-O-D-H-I, Bodhi Body Studios. She's kind of like halfway between Westminster and Boulder, over there by the Jeffco Airport. Well, it's not called Jeffco anymore, is it? The airport.
Yeah, I think it's the regional airport.
Yeah.
Like that.
We'll just tell people to look for airplanes. Man, I'm just all, one of these days is I remember when I'm 80 or 90 years old, I'll get this technology stuff down. I'll understand how to turn the dials the right way and really do it right. So I don't make Henry any grayer than he already is. All right. So Stephanie, the environment that you want in your studio during a massage has certain components that help you to create what?
Relaxation, and it's just a comfortable space for people to be.
All right. Are there any smells?
Sometimes it really kind of depends on what you're trying to accomplish. Sometimes I use aromatherapy to help relax the client. Sometimes I use it to help energize them. It really depends on the goal.
So you're actually, I know this for a fact, but I'm going to say it and sound at the risk of being redundant. You do a profile of people so that you can get answers to those questions, right?
Correct. Yes, I do. I do a very thorough intake with my clients.
Now, that's a one-time thing, right? Because you hope to be them recurring clients.
Right, yeah, we do a thorough initial intake, and then we do a quick brief intake every time they come in. I do a quick interview to see if their goals have changed or how they've progressed, and kind of gauge where we're at for the next session.
And with people like me, you'd have to ask, what else did you break this year?
Right.
What dislocation has happened on your body? And those are important.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
What dislocations would you put on your body? That's because I do that. I break stuff,
right,
and I twist stuff. But that's why people need to come and see Stephanie at Bodhi Body. I just had a thought run through my head, Stephanie. I'm sorry. It just took me off guard. Okay, so got the environment. Now let's talk a little bit about, okay, massage therapy for high performance people who are doing a lot of traveling, a lot of moving around, and the frequency with which they get a massage, as you and I have agreed on, which should be really regular, isn't as regular as it could be because of the travel. Is there anything that you can recommend to people that they could use to bring them into that kind of massage-like environmental state when they're sitting in an airport terminal or in an Uber or hotel room?
Yeah, all sorts of things that you can do to kind of bring yourself into that state. One of the things I recommend people do is travel with a tennis ball, so that you can use that tennis ball to work out any knots or anything while you're traveling. You can wait at the airport, on the airplane, in a hotel room, portable, easy to carry with you. Essential oils for some aromatherapy, the right state of mind as well, or another good useful tool that you can take with you.
Is there a fragrance that you recommend that seems to be kind of not a generalized one, but one that really hits the target straight on the relaxation aspects of aromatherapy?
Oh yeah, I would say lavender is probably the best one for relaxation.
Well, I like lavender, but it tends to make me go to sleep. And if I'm driving, I don't want to do that.
Sure. Well, a good one to stay awake is peppermint. You can combine the two.
Oh, I like that.
Mixed benefits there.
Nice. Is there any that on the aromatherapy side of things? If let's say I got relaxed, I just came from a massage with you, and it's the next day, and I'm now going to the baseball diamond to pitch for a game. Are there any aromatherapeutic scents that you recommend that are energizing?
Citrus. I love citrus scents for energizing.
And does it matter which citrus scents? Orange, lemon, lime? Does it matter?
I like orange or grapefruit are my favorites, but it really doesn't matter.
That's nice. I liked it. So then the other side, then would you recommend after the game when I want to kind of calm it down that the lavender essence, or would you recommend something else with the lavender as a cool down, relaxing thing? If they can't come see you right away for a massage, which would be what I would recommend, what would you ask them to do?
Well, it kind of depends how you're using the oils. If you're using them just to inhale and get that diffused benefit from them, I would say lavender is good.
Okay.
If you have some tension muscles and you have some lotion or oil that you can rub on yourself, I would incorporate a little bit of peppermint to help with that soreness, because peppermint's an analgesic.
Okay.
And it helps bring down that soreness, and the lavender is going to help with any inflammation topically.
Now, I know that you and I have discussed, and I've actually had the benefit of the oils, the cannabinoid oils that you use when requested for massages. Is that something that you would also recommend as a after active session kind of topical recommendation other than the spearmint?
Yeah, absolutely. I love the cannabinoid topicals as well. They're great. They interact with your endocannabinoid system,
Mm-hmm.
and they can bring a lot of benefits to help with pain and inflammation in the body. So definitely one that I recommend.
So, Stephanie, how would you apply a cannabinoid-based oil differently than, say, the lotion or oil that doesn't have that? And I'm kind of trying to set you up because I know from my instruction from the manufacturers of some of the cannabinoid oils I use that the application of the oil is different in your approach. You know, if I have dry skin, I get a lotion, I want to just slather it on and until it's just totally absorbed, and I don't stop rubbing it in until I feel like it's gone. Is there a different process for the cannabinoid oils?
Not that I'm aware of. I use it the same as any other kind of topical lotion, like you would, like an icy hot
Mm-hmm.
or a biofreeze, on the areas that are sore, and just rub it in until it's kind of like you said, until it's gone. The massage that you're giving yourself or that somebody else is giving you will help as well to create some circulation, some other things in those areas.
So it sounds like you're saying
give it a good thorough
going over, yeah. So, but it sounds like you're saying that the friction created by the rubbing in process creates the heat to activate the oil to get deeper into the tissue. Is that general for any oil?
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Okay, good. So I'm sorry, I took a long time to get to that point, Stephanie. But the heat that you use that is created by rubbing it in actually activates the oil to get deep into the tissue. And a good massage therapist like yourself does that anyway. But if we're out there sitting in the airport or hotel, we need to make sure that we try to put on our massage therapist hat and really rub and push. Because I know I become a baby sometimes, and I go, "Oh, that hurts. I don't want to push that. Oh my God, I don't want to hurt that." But for some reason, I go into a whole different mindset when massage therapists like yourself is giving me the massage. I kind of go, I just gotta, grin and bear it, because it's a professional. But I would slack off,
Right.
in the hotel room. I digress. I get into my little stories. Okay, so where does the connection between massage therapy and those mental states created from meditation merge, and why should they connect?
Well, massage helps to relax the body. It helps to slow everything down. So you can kind of get into that meditative state while you're receiving a massage,
Mm-hmm.
and that just gives the brain a good way to relax. Sometimes I tell people, sometimes you need massage as much for your mental state as you do for your physical state. And it's just kind of help you renew and relax and get to a good place of overall well-being.
So, do you recommend any techniques that people can use to get them into that meditative state before they start pushing on the sore spots and being their own massage therapist in their hotel room? Because I wanna make sure I do it right, not just back up and say I'm sore and it hurts me and I don't want to do it anymore. Maybe meditating would help me
Sure.
stay with it.
Yeah, meditating is a great way to start. I would also recommend warming up your muscles, so doing some stretching before you start
Okay.
to kind of get those muscles a little loose and get that blood flow started. So when you get in there, you're not working on an entirely cold muscle.
Yeah. Because it's one thing to cool down, but then as you take the taxi cab from the stadium, it might be a tightening up session after the cool down. So the pain,
Exactly.
the lactic acid start flowing.
Right.
Stretching, would you agree that stretching is a great, an underutilized therapeutic process for most people that are active? They don't stretch enough?
Yeah, absolutely. And to be perfectly honest, the biggest change in people's bodies is after they start doing yoga or stretching on a regular basis. I see drastic changes in people's backs, especially after they started a regular stretching or yoga routine.
Yeah, I've got some football players that are really working hard at opening up their hips through stretching.
Uh-huh.
In fact, because they haven't done it and they've grown so quickly from middle school onto college, their hips actually became problematic with the alignment of their back.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
they didn't find out about it until I'm almost too late. Now that we've found that out, and now they're in Washington, or I'd have them see you, Washington State. But to open up their hips and to loosen those body parts up, their spine straighten back up, and lost the curvature that was creating a reduction in the ability for the abductors and gut muscles to mature and develop. So he's really excited because he's stronger, faster, quicker because of that repair. So just a summary, massage therapy is connected to the brain in many ways, but we don't always consider it that way. We should, as you said. Preparation for massage therapy, like stretching, using topicals, getting your mind right, so your game can be tight, whatever that game is you're doing. In this case, we're talking about massage therapy as the game to play, to give yourself that good feeling. And Stephanie, is there any massage methods that you recommend that you're not going to put a lotion or oil on?
Where you don't put a lotion or oil on?
Yes.
Are you talking about working on it yourself or somebody else working on you?
Yourself, doing it yourself.
Oh boy. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but you actually don't need lotion to give yourself a massage. You can actually, what will happen is you'll get, with less slides, you'll get more of a stretch into your fascia.
Mm-hmm.
You can just work a little bit deeper into your fascia that way, and maybe work on some of the knots that you find a little bit easier, because you won't be flipping around that glide from any lotion.
Okay, so for those really mentally muted people about their body, give me a layman's term for the fascia.
The fascia is tissue that connects all of the muscles together, so it wraps the muscles and it keeps those groups of muscles bundled together.
So as Stephanie said that, I grabbed my thumb at the joint that connects where the palm of my hand is, and I went from that joint, I pushed my other thumb into it all the way to my wrist. So basically I was massaging with no oil the fascia of my thumb, because I was a catcher in college and my thumbs are just beat to hell. So on days like this, when the weather gets all kind of goofy and the fronts are coming in, guess what? I feel it. So I'm doing a little massage on that area. So those sore joints, and here's where I also become the baby again. It hurts. But I work through it. I put my thumb right in it and push on it and just kind of do a rotational thing on it. So Stephanie, tell everybody how they can get in touch with you.
Well, I am, like I said, in Broomfield. My website is www.bodybodystudios.com. You can also look us up on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And you can call our studio at 720-295-0896.
All right, everybody, give her a call. She is such a wonderful entrepreneur and even a greater technician and knowledge base of mind-body connection as a massage therapist. She's always staying on the leading edge of what's new and exciting in her field. And also make sure you thank her for her service as a military professional in the National Guard. Thank you so much, Stephanie, for taking the time to talk to me today on 360mindset.com as our website. And look her up, Bodhi, B-O-D-H-I, bodystudio.com, and set up an appointment with her. Love you, girl. I'm so glad you were able to call and talk to me today. I'll be talking to you soon. Have a great, great weekend.
Thank you. You too.
All right, that was Stephanie Ajakian with Bodhi Body Studio, and she gave us the close for the show by saying to us about the connection. We're talking about the renewal and recovery of your body, mind, and attitude. And there's lots of things out there. I talked a little bit about cannabis. I talked a little bit about nutrition and making the connection with all those things. There's a time and a place to put those in your life to make it work. And we want to make sure here at 360mindset.com and the 360 Performance Talk Show that we give you methods and strategies to do that. And it really, one of the reasons I picked this topic, and I regret that I didn't get out the promo piece early enough and often enough, but I was distracted by some things in the news about, just here's the words that came to mind when I hear these stories. Integrity, honesty, and mental toughness, commitment, trust is another word. And we want to make sure here at 360 Performance Talk, and what we say here at KUHSdenver.com, that we're committed, legitimately committed, to giving you real solutions and strategies to provide you with action steps that make you better. And in this case today, we're talking about making you feel better, with the connection of all those parts. Making sure that you're hydrated, making sure that you're doing stretching, making sure you understand the real stories about the uses of cannabis as not only recreational, but also the medical implications. As you heard Karen talk, she has great stories, great real results of patients, cancer patients, MS patients that have relieved pain and suffering to improve the quality of their life. And if that can happen for them by using cannabis, the recreational applications of cannabis can help each of you in your pursuits to have a great time on the slopes, a great time on the golf course, and recover after a long run, or a wonderful session in yoga, power yoga at the rec centers that you go to. By all means, try these things out. You'll see some messages and some references on our website at 360mindset.com. We'll also joint post those on KUHSdenver.com so you can see those. I am so jazzed about the work that we do here, because we're consistent and we're constant in our approach to the messages we want to send. If you have something you want to say to us, by all means, go on to 360mindset.com and show us what you have to say. Type it in. Give us your thoughts. Internationally, thanks for being here. We're going to throw some tunes up for today. We're going to talk about I'm sorry, I had a brain stop. We're going to have it Sock It To Me by Missy Misdemeanor Elliott, and play that back for you. Give you some songs to listen to as we end the day today. Hope you have a great weekend. You're listening to KUHSdenver.com and 360 Mindset. Performance Talk. Have a great weekend, everybody. Enjoy. Still with you out there internationally. Hope to hear from you. Send us an email or a web connection, 360mindset.com. Type in a response to our show. Give us some ideas on shows about what you want to hear about performance, sports performance, executive performance. Give us a holler. Look forward to hearing from you. Hope you have a great weekend as well. Missy Misdemeanor Elliott. Gotta love that. Sock It To Me.